David. What's going on, my man?
Not much, brother.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know,
Thanks for having me,
so I'm happy to be here
Yeah.
on it's the ending of All-Star Weekend. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And things
yeah.
like that. You were
Yeah.
out, I think it was Friday night.
Friday night,
Yeah. How was that?
It was good, man.
Saw some Biebs, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny. So I just saw a post today, actually, that he hasn't done a show for 2 years.
Yes, I saw
didn't
that
know
too.
that. I actually never been to a Bieber show.
Yeah.
And the band's manager hit me up randomly and it's like, hey, like, you want to go to a Bieber show? I'm in town.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken for a minute, right? And then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm down. Super spontaneous. So I went, and I didn't realize that NHL All-Star and Justin Bieber and Tim Hortons and Maple Leafs. And when I first in line, I'm like, man, there's a lot of tall-looking hockey players with the stash and the long hair and the hat, right? That's the look.
I love that.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, these guys look like celebrities, and I realized later it was an NHL All-Star, so I was like, okay, that makes sense. But it was good though. It was a good
So that was
show.
the Bieber performance. I know it's like for 2 years
You know
from
what's
you
funny,
know.
man?
So,
Like he only played like 3 songs.
Really?
Yeah, he only played 3 songs, but they were legit though. Like it was good.
It looks like he was getting ready for the game too, because he played in the game a little bit.
Oh yeah, actually I didn't see the game.
I didn't watch the game myself.
Yeah.
Either, you know what I mean? So,
But no, it was good. It was a good time. Open bar. They had great food. I just like
there you go.
Snacks here and there.
You networked at least.
I networked a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah, it was
Getting
good.
your name out there.
Yeah. So
Because
it was good,
you know
man.
you're the man right now. You
I
know.
appreciate it, man.
You're into fashion. So my question to you is, where do you get the inspiration
Yeah.
to
So
just get into all this?
So you know what's funny, man? Like, so how I got it, or when I designed.
Both.
Okay.
We're here, free flowing.
Let's go.
Safe
free flow.
space, my guy.
All right, okay. So you know what? I realized like I've been told I had ADHD when I was a kid
Okay.
by teachers. I was kind of a class clown, and I didn't take it serious because I didn't know what it was. And I was like, yeah, I'm just silly. It's not like I have ADHD. And then I watched his TikTok video, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy definitely has ADHD. Like the things they were saying, I'm like, oh, I have that. So I diagnosed myself on TikTok, but probably not the best way. But here's the thing. So I realized why I really enjoyed fashion is because unlike any other business, if you have a product, let's say I sell these cups, right? It's a good business to sell one product because you can sell it over and over. But the thing is, you can get bored sometimes selling the same thing. So where like fashions, every season I have to reinvent myself. So to me, it's kind of interesting. I have ADHD, and I'm like, I don't get bored because I'm always making something new, right? So I think that's the reason why I really like fashion, because I can reinvent myself and create a story every time. So like design stuff, for me, like it usually depends on my mood. So like if I'm going through like a breakup, just like a musician, or if I'm going through like whatever it is, I'm listening to more emo songs maybe, and that kind of creates like my last collection for fall winter. That was just when I was in a breakup actually. And if you look at the video on the actual Instagram, it's very moody. You know, he's like waking up, putting his shirt on, and I enjoy doing that. And there's one part of my life when I had the brand Kollar, because I rebranded, and I'll tell you why in a bit. But when I had Kollar, you know, I was really known because I threw crazy events in Toronto. I threw event probably every 2-3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So like to me, that brand was about being like a rock star. So like I pretty much like tried to live that life and this and that. So like everything was smoking cigarettes and drinking in the actual videos, and people liked it. And I would get guys, dude.
Yeah.
It's funny. I would get like guys that buy my clothes that would send me videos of them wearing it with smoking a cigarette. I'm like, you guys are really living that
Proper
life.
branding, though.
Yeah.
Proper branding.
Yeah, but so that's what I like, why I enjoy fashion. But how I got into it was interesting because, so, you know, I've spoken this a few times, but I'll kind of say it again. But like, so I grew up, I was born in Slovakia. Then I moved to Toronto, I think it was like 5 years old. And so my mom was a single mom. It was me, my sister, and my mom. And when we moved from Slovakia, we're very poor. We're immigrants. So we didn't have a lot of money. And we had garage sales. And my mom was like, if you want something, you gotta work hard for it. I'm like, okay. And, you know, even for Christmas, like we got government gifts from the government. And that's how we like celebrated Christmas, where I saw other kids getting gifts from their parents. And I didn't travel until I was like 23 because we didn't have money, right? So I think it was and I was because I was poor, I lived in like government housing. I always felt like I was looked down upon because like no one really like would listen to me. And I said to myself, you know, one day I'm going to be hopefully to a position where I can say things and people might respect what I have to say. Because younger, I didn't have that. And I didn't have no confidence too. I was very insecure. And I know a lot of like, I was in that shoe, so I get it, right?
Yep.
And so I worked like probably 20 different jobs growing up.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, it's true, bro. But because, again, I get bored so quick.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like Lacoste, Staples, security guard, dance studio, grocery store, gas station, Cinnabon, like random ass shit.
But you know what those all have in common, though?
What?
It shaped you to who you are today.
Word, yeah, that's
You know
true,
what I
bro.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So you took a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you put it into the brand.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Actually, it's funny because like majority of like any good entrepreneur, I always tell them two things, right? Number one is how good you make a decision, because a decision can make you go forward or go back. So when they don't, so even in stocks, you invest in the company because of who the owner is, not just the company. So like for me, when I see a good entrepreneur, if I see someone that's an entrepreneur, but they're not like reading books or they're not like taking the time to make themselves better, meditating, doing certain things to make themselves like level up, stress is gonna come as an entrepreneur. There is fires every day.
So they
Just because you make more money,
talk
you're
about
bigger,
it.
there's still more. You know what I'm saying? So I think like for me, like when I see someone, even myself, like I have to invest in myself and like how I make decisions, or I'm gonna have a step back, right? And then so basically for me, like, you know, just growing up like broke, I realized like after working all these jobs, I was like, I like working on these jobs, but I actually don't like it. So I was like, may I have to go to school. So I went to college. I went for HR at Seneca. So I wasn't good at school, dude. I was just really shit at it.
I hated math myself, so it is what it is, right?
Yeah. I failed French 4 times, bro.
Jeez.
But yeah, so dropped out of college, and this is where the break happened. So my whole life changed. So I actually, I always wanted to be a football player growing up, and then I got a concussion where I lost my memory for 6 months. I'd wake up with anxiety. I was like, what day is it today? What year is it? I was there like, you know that movie, First Date? Something like that with Adam Sandler?
No.
51st Dates.
51st Day. I didn't watch that one.
Okay.
I didn't
Well,
watch
the girl
that one.
wakes up
Yeah.
brand new every day. That was me for like 6 months.
Damn.
And it's because, but anyways, I was like, maybe football, I can't do that anymore. I was really into sports. I was competitive. So I was like, well, what's another way to be competitive, but also like enjoy myself? But after concussion, I randomly started liking clothing. And I was really bad before at clothing.
I like that.
And the funny thing, I didn't go to school for it. I didn't know how to design. I didn't know where to start. So I want people to know that you don't need to go to school or any of that. As long as you're passionate and you're persistent, you can get to where you want.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So, you know, after that, I went on YouTube. And I literally typed in how to become a fashion designer.
What?
Yeah. And then I learned like how to use Illustrator, how to use stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, like because I didn't have formal training, that's why like I made so much mistakes and I lost a lot of money in the beginning. And I didn't actually start making money in my first brand until like 4 years after, because it was just like learning curve. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a partner, and and then basically when I was starting it out, I didn't have confidence, and I met this guy who was a balloon decorator in college. I was like blowing up balloons actually. I was decorating. So anyone has events, hit me up.
Okay.
But
You weren't sucking in the helium though, were you?
No. It was a
okay.
machine,
I want
bro.
to make sure. I want to make sure. You know, I think we've all done that.
Yeah, bro, trust
Alter our
me.
voices and stuff like that, right?
yeah. But like, so I pretty much met this guy named Steve. We were in a van driving to different locations. And I remember going into like nice houses and like certain things. And I knew like that could never be me, because I was like, I just didn't have that mentality. That I always thought like the cards you were dealt, that's kind of where you are, and you got to hit the jackpot to get out of it. Because I told you earlier, I grew up very poor. But he's like, yo, you're actually kind of smart, like the way you make moves and stuff. And I'm like, oh, really? And like, I didn't have that confidence. And he kept telling me, and he's older. He's like 45, 50 at the time. I'm like this 22-year-old kid. And he kept telling me, he's like, you should like, you know, do this. And he gave me his book called The Secret. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I know about that.
Okay. Yeah. So I know what it was, but I had nothing to lose. You know, like I remember the government house that I lived in, there was like bed bugs and like all this crazy shit. And I would literally sleep on a computer chair because I kept getting bit and I couldn't afford a new mattress.
Holy. Okay.
Yeah, so it was intense. So like, and I lived with my brother at the time. And so while this was happening, I ended up dropping out of school, and I was reading this book, Secret, and I started putting all these things on my wall. Like I wanted to get out of, I wanted to leave like the hood. I wanted to actually get a car that worked. My car used to break down. I want to do all these things. And I put all these things on my wall, and I would like stare at it when I wake up and like close my eyes until it felt super real. And then bro, a year later, like a lot of things I put down, like actually worked.
Yeah.
And then I went to a trade show, and it's my first time traveling. I've never been anywhere else. It's Las Vegas, right? So I went to Las Vegas, and I remember like trying to get stores to like purchase my clothing to retail. And I didn't realize you needed appointments. All these stores had appointments. I didn't. So I already invested all my money I had into this show. And I was like, how do I make this work? So that time Drake was just getting big. So I was like, I went up to different guys. I'm like, where you from? He's like, oh, I'm New Jersey. Okay. I'm like, you know where Toronto's from? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you know where Drake's from? He's like, yeah, Toronto. I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm from. He's like, oh, Toronto's here? I'm like, yeah. And then I'll have like chocolate in the back and like some drinks. I'm like, you guys want some drinks or chocolate? We start talking.
I like that.
And then, and then after that, I opened 15 doors to Kollar, and that's how the fashion brand started.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Just by listening to this, and I know the audience are listening, watching, doing whatever, you've given so much value in so much little time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it shows that the art of, you speak about the jobs that you worked, networking, putting yourself in the right positions, right? For you now that you're established, what keeps you up at night?
Oh, that's a good question, bro. Mm-hmm. You thought through that one, bro.
I'm just here, my guy. I'm just here.
That's legit, bro.
Yes, sir.
So you're asking me like what keeps me up at night at the position I'm at now?
Yeah, what keeps you up at night?
You know what? Recently, like I went through like some like very spiritual, I guess you can say like transformative things in my life. But before that happened, I think what kept me up at night all the time is I was always trying to be the best at everything, where it was like, I had to be number one. I would literally, because I was competitive in football, and it's unhealthy actually. Back then I thought it wasn't. But I would look at like all my competitors that are like the best of the best in the game. And I'm like, and I would like stalk them and be like, okay, he's doing that. All right, I'm gonna do better. He's doing that, I'm gonna do better.
When you say football, like you mean like
sports? Oh yeah,
like
football.
Football,
yeah,
football, or like
football.
soccer football?
No, football.
Okay, just want to make sure we clarify that. Yeah. Keep going.
And I have some pictures too if you want to post it later.
Okay, we do whatever, man.
So like I would like, and it was like a good, to me, like at the time it was like a good like motivator. Like I still think it's good to look at others get inspired. I call it inspired now instead of competing with them. Because competing to me, I think energy is real. So like when you compete with someone, it has sometimes has negative energy to it. But when you're inspired by someone and it brings you up, then you have positive energy and you're gonna attract that. You know what I'm saying? So that's
a bar right there. It's a fucking bar.
I appreciate that.
Like
but
that.
Before I went through those changes, like I was always competing with people. Like I was competing with myself. I had to be the most, like back then I was trying to work out too. I was like, I had to be the most jacked. I had to be like the best fashion designer. I had to throw the best parties. And it's good to have that level of wanting that. But when you start doing it so much where it affects your health and it affects like your mental state, I couldn't sleep because I kept waking up like wanting to be the best. And it's not even like at the time it's like everyone has this things like hustle and grind, like, yo, let's I don't need sleep, I'm just gonna work, get to the top. But a lot of people don't think about it. But so if you just ask why, you're gonna realize it all comes down to one thing. So if I go, let's say I'm a broke kid, I wanna be rich. Why? So everyone can maybe listen to me. But why do you want them to listen to you? I'm like, because no one actually listens to me now. But why do you care that they listen? Because I want to feel better about myself. But why? And you keep asking why, and it all comes down to one thing: just feeling content and happy with your life. So all these people are chasing crazy amount of money and ruining their health because of it. At the end of the day, you know, when you lose your health and everything, it doesn't even matter that you went through all that.
So true.
You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
true.
So when I went through, I used to drink like crazy. I'll have a drink here and there now, but like back then I drank like 5 times a week.
Shit.
Yeah, and I would like, you know, vapes. I'll smoke here and there, and like I always thought I was unstoppable because I was like drinking all the time and I would work out, eat kind of healthy, and I'll have my like cheat meals on the weekend. But what had happened is like I woke up one day and like I just took my body to another level. Because to be honest, bro, like I watched a lot of videos and like work with like a lot of stem cell doctors and like regenerative doctors.
Yeah.
And when I had an injury, I spent a lot of time, probably 2 years, just studying and interviewing people on purpose to figure out how they healed themselves. And that's how I got better from an injury I had.
Shit.
But like the doctor's like, you're never going to be able to walk properly again. You can't use your hands properly again. I couldn't lift a cup that was more than 10 pounds because I overworked myself to a point where like I damaged my body, right? And it's funny because when you follow me on Instagram now, like anyone follows me now, they know like I'm all about like clean eating and this and that. I'll still cheat here and there, but like it was because I had to go through such hell for 2 years where I was almost like suicidal to be honest. Like
Jesus.
I couldn't get out of bed or walk outside. Like I was basically I herniated my discs in my neck, my lower back. And when that happened, it damaged all my nerves. And basically the doctor was like, you won't get better like unless you do surgery, but there's a 50-50 chance you'll be fully disabled. And they cut your throat and this other crap.
Wow.
So I went on Facebook groups and I was laying in bed like this and I was like studying like how, I went to Facebook called herniated discs and stem cells. And I saw this book about stem cells and I was like, what is it? Cause I obviously like I heard stem cells like, but it's also so new. I don't trust it. And I just sat there and I saw these UFC fighters go and get it done and they're getting better. So I'm like, okay. So I literally ordered on Amazon like a projector on the ceiling cause I couldn't move my neck properly and my hands were messed up. So like I was able to like do research. And I literally spend like 6-8 months in my room staring at the ceiling every single day. And usually when I'm stressed, I work out, can't work out. And I'm stuck in my own head. And then when I had this MRI thing done, I had like, I developed something where like it's the opposite of being deaf. So when I'm in a loud room or like this cup, if I go like that, it would feel like the loudest noise.
Oh, for real?
And so I'd be like that. And I didn't know why. So my whole body was falling apart. So I couldn't leave the house because the sound of traffic was too loud. So I couldn't be social. Me laughing actually hurt my ears.
Wow.
So I couldn't laugh anymore. So that could drive someone to like suicidal, right? So I couldn't walk, couldn't move my arms, couldn't like actually leave the house. I couldn't talk to anyone because it would hurt. So I spent like 8 months alone. But I think at the time I was like kind of mad at like the world and like just like myself. I was very in a dark place. And I didn't care about my business anymore. And that's why I actually shut down because Kollar was the past of who I was. And it did everything I wanted it to do. But then I realized like it was so toxic that it made me like ruin my life, my energy. Like I just became like this guy that I forgot who I actually was because I was so deep in the industry. Like I was about the parties and drinking and this and that. I was so deep into it where I lost myself. And I almost feel like God had to like be like, hey, you learn everything the hard way, like your concussion. And that's what made you change to like become a fashion designer. So I'm going to take everything away from you. He took like my health. He took my confidence, like my ego. Everything I had was gone, stripped in 2021. And then my business, I was like, forget it. Like, I don't even care about it. I can't even listen to shit. Like, I can't do anything. And so my purpose at that point was like, I just wanted to be able to sit in a restaurant and have dinner and have a good conversation like we're having right now, having a good conversation. I couldn't even sit before.
Yeah.
So all the things I thought was amazing, I took for granted after, right? So when that happened, I went through this. It was crazy because I just finished New York Fashion Week. That was like the breaking point. I was like, yeah, like, and I was competing with some of the biggest brands, like Amiri. Like we were just all kind of competing right there. And in 2020, that's in 2021, like everything was going well. Did my first New York Fashion Week show. In 2021, that's when the injury happened. And out of nowhere, like, you know, I had the hearing issue, the injury, and all these things started happening to my body where like I was like 100 pounds, dude. Like I was skinny, like I lost all this weight. And all the doctors gave up. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, you just have to live this way. And knowing me as an entrepreneur, I was like, nah, I can't.
I can't live that way. No,
yeah, I can't.
Bounce back season.
Yeah, bro. So I thought this bounce back would be like 3-4 months. I'll be better in 4 months. But man, the longer it took, 6 months, 8 months, 14 months, I'm like, I'm not getting better. Like, this might be permanent. You start losing that confidence in yourself. I lost like the confidence of who I was. I lost confidence of as an entrepreneur. I lost confidence as a human being, everything. I got stripped of everything. And like I used all the money I had to just heal myself. And it was okay because, you know, a lot of people think like starting over is a bad thing, but like I saw it as a blessing now because if you look at the brand now, which I call it by David Kollar, Kollar was like the old me when I was like really like in that like, I guess I was starting up, I wanted to be in the industry. I was like hungry. Now it's more like a balanced like designer where I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for like over a decade now. And now I'm going to do it properly where I'm not ruining my health, where I'm actually enjoying myself. Because before, as an entrepreneur, bro, and maybe some entrepreneurs can attest to this, but like you hustle to a point where you don't even enjoy it anymore. You're just doing it because you have to. And you're trying to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Repetition.
Yeah, bro. So
and it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? That's why we
that's
get
why
into
started,
it.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like it becomes all this workload and this and that and all these obligations and stuff, and you got to bring a team around you and all this stuff too.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
I like that though.
But I guess like just to keep it short, like I end up like interviewing people on Facebook, and a lot of them got better with stem cells and PRP, regenerative medicine. and I'm actually currently invested in a company called Peak Human Labs. And what they do is they treat people with like a lot of bodybuilders use called BCP 157. It's a peptide.
Yeah.
And you actually produce it naturally in your gut, but you can take it and it actually will help speed up recovery on like different injuries. And the second thing is a lot of people do this 3-day fast, like Dana White.
Yeah.
He found a way to replicate the same cell regeneration in a pill form, and you can take it while still eating, and your body acts as fasting for 3 days. So your cells regenerate even quicker. So that's why. So I believe
This man's got me taking notes right now.
yeah.
Sheesh.
So like I really believe in what he did. So like I'm investing in his company right now, helping with his branding and stuff like that. And I think like the most important thing is I didn't give up. And even though there's times where I felt like giving up everything, you know, everything happens for a reason. You just gotta trust the process, and I just had to do it. And I said I would pray all the time because I was desperate, bro. You know, and I got really spiritual at the time. I was like God, like whatever you're doing to me right now, I don't get it, but I'm sure I will one day. And then now, 2 years later, 3 years later, I realized why I went through that, bro. I was killing myself. I kept continuing what I was doing, like drinking 5 days a week and like not even having a break to like meditate and calm down. I was always go, 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 go. Bro, that's not a joyful life. Like you're faking everything through drinking because you can't be okay with yourself sober. You can't have fun sober. So you're hiding something. You're not going through your child trauma. You gotta go through that. Once you go through that, then if you want to have a drink, but you know you do it for a different reason now. You know what I'm saying?
Bars on top of bars on top of bars, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, anyways, I did stem cells like 8 months ago with the doctor, Dr. Khan, and it made me feel a lot better. He's really dope, and
from the city here.
He's from the city.
It's the same person. It's got to be the same person. It has to be.
Gotta be.
Has to be.
He's
that
a
is
regenerative
crazy.
medicine doctor.
Yes.
And I met him when he was just
Kashif, right?
Kashif. No, that's the other guy now.
That's the other guy.
Kashif is also in the game. He's DNA company.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm really connected with like what's going on with regenerative medicine.
That's scary, man. All these people came on the show, man.
Bro,
that's what's
crazy,
up, man. That's how
it
is,
circle,
bro.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah, but like, I worked with Dr. Khan. I did stem cells in the shoulder, lower back, and neck. I'm like about 90% better. I'm able to work out again and do all the things I love. And then for the ear stuff, I actually work with a doctor. They said it's like you cannot cure. It was called hyperacusis, what I had, and you can't cure it. And doctors couldn't even figure it out. That's how you know. No offense to the healthcare system, but they're kind of bad right now. That's why I prefer. So what's different with the healthcare system and regenerative medicine is the healthcare system is all about band-aids and just giving you stuff to make money. Right?
Now we're canceled.
Yeah, now we're canceled.
Now we're canceled.
No, Justin Trudeau's gonna close this one down. No, I'm playing. We can cut this out, maybe. But no, keep running. But and then we got regenerative medicine, and they found ways to use your body, which is what your body's supposed to do, to heal itself. And the stem cells just activates your stem cells to heal certain things. So like an umbilical cord is when you have to cut it when you're a baby, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So that's what they use as stem cells. But like the umbilical cord is what creates your nose, your eyes, your muscles. And so they're just reversing that. And like there's different ways of doing it. And people are scared of like tumors and stuff. And I get it because, you know, it's very new. But they know that there's different stem cells that does different things. So there's one stem cell where it just activates your body to create stem cells to heal yourself.
But you speak about doing the research first, though.
Yeah,
right?
I read.
And I think that's the most important thing. A lot of people jump into these little things like the fad diets, like the keto, and not realizing that you got to stay like that for like the rest of time.
For sure, bro.
Because if you think you're gonna flip it, then it's never gonna work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you do the research. So I think people that are listening, viewing this, they got to do the research because they're probably like, "What is stem cell?" You know what I mean?
Exactly,
so
bro.
it's like you got to do it. You got to figure it out.
I did like, bro. I'm a pretty paranoid person. So it took me 2 years to go through with it. So I really did. I not only did research, but I literally went on a Facebook group. And this is the best hack I'm gonna give you guys in anything. Entrepreneurs, if you're trying to get like fix yourself, trying to get relationship advice, join Facebook groups. They're free boards where you can and pick people's brain.
This man's giving
what
out
helps
the value,
them.
man.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way,
bro. Yeah.
A lot of people like networking is so big. Like we have a mutual, Mike Van Holt. Accelerate.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He had a networking event in the city last week.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like you have to be around like-minded individuals.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Facebook groups or Instagram groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just network with people. You know what I mean?
So good,
Don't take
bro.
advantage, but just
network.
reach out. You know, hey, listen,
yeah.
can I have some? Like, give me some advice, something like that. You know?
Exactly. Yeah,
and whatnot. For sure.
It's interesting because what's his name? It's that really popular entrepreneur, Patrick
David?
No, Patrick Bates or Bateman. What's his name?
I don't know. Fact check it.
Can you check it? Can you
This man's over here. This is like, I'm not interrupting.
Yeah. Can you check entrepreneur Patrick? Just put Patrick something to show up. He was a real estate broker, and then he created his own company, and then he's the biggest. He's like Cardone, like he's huge.
It's Patrick David. It has to be.
Is it?
It's got to be Patrick David,
Okay.
bro.
You have a picture of him? So
He's Iranian, right?
Yeah, that's him. Okay.
That's Patrick David.
Okay,
It's wild because I'm actually listening to one of his
Patrick
audiobooks.
Bateman's American Psycho. Okay, never
This
mind.
guy. I was like, where did he said? I was like, Patrick David.
That's him. Yeah. Okay.
Come on now. That's the man.
Okay.
The legend right
he's
there.
the man, bro. I read his book, but
What, 5S?
next year, 5 next moves or something?
Yeah.
Five, 2 steps, something steps.
Okay.
Your 5 next moves. Sorry, that's the one.
Yeah.
But he said something in his podcast that was crazy. He said, I might butcher it, so don't take everything I say word to word. But he said, like, there was a guy that before he was popular, before he made his big sale, there was a guy that his son was in jail, but he's like, no one will visit him in that city. And this guy's like, just like a really popular entrepreneur. Like, and at the time, Patrick was nobody at the time.
No.
And he's like, yo, like, I don't mind visiting him every week. And so he started visiting him every week and just networking, and like gave the guy a book. He has a thing where I've heard that he gives people books like every month or every year or whatever as a gift. And just because of that guy ends up saying, like, no one's ever done that for my son. Because in the beginning, he didn't say that no one visited his son. He's like, can you visit my son? Mm-hmm. And he ended up doing it all the time. And that guy started giving him all these leads that were like millionaire leads. And he started making tons of money through that.
Right.
So that just shows how powerful networking
It's
is.
wild that you say that. The universe, and I feel like you have that connection to you, and I can feel it. It's radiating right with me.
Nice, bro.
I'm actually audiobooking his Choose Your Enemies Wisely.
I never read that one.
Oh, that one's
Never
good.
heard that,
That
bro.
one's good.
Yeah.
That one's good.
right.
I'll just say this. Find who your enemies are and just use them as fuel. So it could be that girl. Could be that guy, bad business deal. Girl broke your heart. Use that as fuel.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it shaped my perspective now, because it's like everything I see now that I'm wanting to do, I'm just dominating. And you just start really applying yourself differently. And about the book situation, I was listening to a podcast with him and boxer Ryan Garcia.
Okay.
And he's gifted him the Kobe Bryant Black Mamba book after dinner and stuff like that. He's like, yo, come to my place.
It's Patrick, you're saying?
Yeah, Patrick David, man.
So that's the biggest hack right there. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, right? And that's, you got to be around people that, because he checked Ryan Garcia. He's like, I don't think you're at where you need to be. And I think you need to spend 2 years and, find Messi, find Federer, find all these different people. Don't post about it, but really ask them the right questions to get to that next level. Because he's only 25, right?
That's crazy.
And he's about to take over the world. So it's it's good to see that, And I was listening to that. I was like taking mental notes.
That's dope,
I'm like,
man.
fuck, man. Like, it's
That's
crazy.
really good, yeah.
Because the power of our phone, man, like notebook.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Anytime a thought comes up, boom.
You type it
jot
in.
it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For sure,
it's funny.
for sure.
There's times where I'd wake up and I have like, it's weird, man. Sometimes I would go to bed and like at 2, 3 a.m. I would like have these like thoughts of like the right things to be doing, and I'd be like, whoa, that's really dope. And then I'll go back to bed and forget everything. So I always type it out.
So when you went through all your health, now you're better. What energizes you now to be where you were at to now where you're at now when it comes to the development stages and processing?
Okay. So I think the number one thing is humans will get stressed no matter what, right? That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And stress is the major issue on why people create cancer and health issues, in my opinion, and from my research. And so I try to avoid stress as much as possible. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Things are gonna happen. Shit's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of see my injury as a blessing as well, because I realized when I got injured that no matter what happens in my life, my car breaks down or I lose all my money, or as long as I have my health, I realize I'm so blessed. Doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I can't take any of that with me anyways when I die. I don't care. So, and so for me, what energized me is that I don't get stressed as much now, because if something really bad happens, I just go back to thinking, you could be in bed right now for 6 months. You're blessed to be able to even do this. You're blessed to have problems like this. And now, before this injury, I'd probably be like couldn't sleep, stressed out. I sleep fine still because I realized I still have my health. And I think that's the blessing I had. And so that energized me, knowing that every day I get another chance to be healthy and like live life, you know? So that's like
love
for
that
me.
you fucking say that. Love
So
it.
that's
love it.
so a lot of people, it's funny because at the end of the day, it's all about how you perceive the world, right? Because at the time, I perceived the world that if I didn't have a lot of money, if I didn't do certain things, I'm gonna be broke and I'm gonna have a shit life, and it's not a life worth living. And then my perspective changed after the injury, where I'm like, I can wake up now, I have my health, I have good people around me, I feel great, I have food on the table. Doesn't matter. Everything else is a bonus. It's a game that goes up and down. You're gonna not keep any of this anyways. Everything's for rent. Your money you make's for rent. Everything's for rent.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So why are you gonna stress?
Okay.
Why are you gonna stress?
So
the
true.
purpose of living.
It's like
good
relationships.
life.
It feels like a little bit
100%,
like rental properties, no?
100%, bro.
It's like you're playing Monopoly on the board.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. So I just got this new tattoo. It says, might be butchering it. It's Italian. I don't know if you're Italian. If Ernesto was here, he can tell me, but it's called Tutto Passo.
Okay.
Or Passa, Tutto Passa. And it means everything pass. And I thought that was powerful because now I can like always remind myself that everything from pain to injuries to health to your life to opportunities to making money and mostly issues and problems and stress will pass. Everything, just like everything will pass. That's just the way life is. You know, you're gonna get old, things are gonna happen. And just remember everything passed. So there's some things you can control, some you can't. So just live the best life you can. Because at the end of the day, based on your perspective, like I said before, the perspective, some people have better, like if you look at someone like a third world country, right? People always bring this up and I didn't really understand it, but like there's people that third world countries don't have money, don't have success, don't even have opportunities that North Americans do, like us. And they're living so happy. They're just like happy to like, when I went to Greece, I saw people like just enjoying, like taking their time, you know, having their cigarette coffee and just chatting for hours. And that's what they do. And they're happy and content. We got to go all the time. And until we make enough money, then we're content. And it's like, it's just perspective. That's their perspective. They're happy with that life. And also how you grew up, your perspective was different. I grew up poor, so my perspective, I need money. But then when I actually realized that it's not just about that, my perspective changed and now I'm more happier because of my health.
I love that you said that.
You know what I'm saying?
So with the brand, is there anybody you want to collaborate with? Or possibly that one person you want to wear your clothing?
Yeah.
Two-part question.
Okay, yeah. So I think for clothing, my favorite rapper right now is Central C. So for sure, Central C.
You gotta go with the UK now.
Yeah, UK.
Okay.
Yeah. And then collaboration, I'm a big fan of, I think Represent is a really dope brand. I'm a big fan of them.
Okay.
It was funny because right before I had the injury, we were at the trade show together.
Huh.
Yeah, we're actually competing head to head.
Really?
Yeah, and then
revisit that old contact.
Yeah. But it was a healthy. Back then it was like straight competition, but now it's like inspirational. Where I look at them, I'm like, damn, like they've come so far.
Yeah.
You know, as a brand, and so I see that as like fuel. And like I said, I guess I didn't finish what I was saying before, but like instead of competing, you know, you got to be inspired by people. And I've always kind of like when I hear someone doing better than me, there's only two ways you can think about it. And I think
talk about it, man. Let's go.
There's two ways. If someone, here's the thing. I heard a quote the other day, so I'm not gonna say it's from me, but like, if the fastest way to know if someone like really fucks with you or not is you catch them from behind, right? The guy's like standing from whatever, and there's two things. I'm not sure if it works in that psychology, but you catch them from behind and be like, hey, like how you doing? And the first expression on their face of when they see you is usually the real way they feel about you. They say that. Some doctor said that. I know it's just true. But the second thing is,
makes sense.
When you tell someone good news, and this is not a quote from me, someone else, I can't remember who. You tell someone good news, you see how they act, right? They're either really grateful, like, dude, that is like amazing, bro. I'm so happy for you. Or like, oh, really? Like, but like, are you scared this is gonna happen though? Or like, oh, cool. Like, all those things, like, truly how they probably feel, right? And like, another thing is like, when someone tells me something, like, when you talk about success in front of someone that's not as successful as you, let's say, there's two things that happens. For me, growing up, I was always the one that got inspired. So I look at someone that's like really up, see his house, see his car, I'm like, damn. And I'm like, I always go up to them when I was doing these balloon decoration stuff. I would go up to them like, if you give me one tip on how you made it here and how you made this money, what is it? And I remember this one guy, he told me, you would never make the amount of money you're supposed to make until you're ready for it. I'm like, what does that even mean? He's like, when I say you're ready for it, it's because a lot of people want to be rich overnight, but you got to work on yourself and grow and like really be mentally ready to handle stress, be mentally ready to learn, be mentally ready for all this stuff. Then you can make it.
And you get those tests. You get those
yeah,
tests
you get those
along
tests
the way.
along
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way. And then
you get those tests.
Are you gonna have grit to keep going, right?
Shit.
So that's like, to me, that was like very
Seasoning,
important.
man. Seasoning. Preaching right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's two things, right? Either one person gets jealous or you get inspired. That's the truth. When you tell someone good news. And the ones that get jealous, you know, you can't do anything but their feelings. But like, if you're the person, let's say someone gave me good news or success about them, then let's say they're doing better than me. Let's say they're in 1,000 stores and I'm not in 1,000 stores yet. And I'll be like, I can either get really jealous or I get motivated and inspired. And usually I say like when I get motivated and inspired, it's a way better feeling because you're portraying all this good energy of you getting amped to get to that level versus being jealous. You're like, fuck this guy, I can do better than that. Like I know a lot of people that are like that and like they just shoot themselves in the foot because it's all this like bad energy you're just attracting yourself, you know?
Speak to the city.
Yeah, bro.
How do you feel inspired in the city of Toronto?
Man, you know what's funny, man? Like when I was doing those parties and stuff, I got inspired through throwing these events because I would see all the different types of people that would come to my events, and I'd be like, okay, I didn't know he really like messed with my brand, and like I would actually see it come to life. And then one thing we did as a marketing strategy is we always filmed everything like a movie. Everything was in slow motion. So if you go to YouTube, you type in Kollar Clothing, you'll see I was actually one of the first ones that had a clothing line that was filming that way. Now everyone does it, but that was back in like 20.
Inspiration.
Yeah. But like I got inspiration through the city through just filming stuff like that. And then when people saw the videos, they were like, oh wait, I'm going to his next event. That's sick. And I just kept doing that to a point where every event I threw would be so maxed out, I would kick people out. It got so big.
Shit.
And we got sponsored by like every alcohol company you could think of. We had like Shawn Mendes come to my parties. We had like I think his name is Zeko, like DZEKO. And then like all these like, and it was really cool. Like it was literally like the parties I wanted. I was inspired by this movie called The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
And I thought he had
Everybody
the
knows
craziest
that
party.
movie. Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I need to make parties The Great Gatsby. Like it's gotta be the craziest party where everyone wants to go. And I was able to do those things. And then I think after where I am now, to get inspired in the city, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm actually very uninspired by the city, to be honest.
Why is that?
And it's because, well, right now there's a lot of stupid crap happening with like Justin Trudeau, like canceling culture and this and that, you know?
We're here.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It's all good.
Yeah, but I actually get more inspired when I leave Toronto, and I'm just keeping it real, but like, and I go to like Greece or place that I'm scared to go to or like place I've never been. And I like seeing how people act because each country I visit, they all act way different. Like people in Greece, they take their time and they really appreciate their food and the way you eat stuff. Same with Italy. And like, I just like notice the fashion in Italy is very like luxurious and like just the way they act, the way they talk. Like these things are very inspirational to me. And then if I go to Mexico, for example, which I just came back from, the way they live is very like quick and fast sometimes. Cause I never seen, bro, like these workers that like build these houses, they sleep in their units, like they're building.
Got to do it.
Yeah, and
You
they
gotta
wake
figure
up
it
and
out.
work, and I'm like, damn, bro. Like,
Yeah.
So like, I see so many different cultures and vibes, and I get inspired by that. But, you know, I used to get really inspired by Toronto because the fashion, they were kind of coming up there, and like, I'm not gonna lie, nowadays we have more fashion designers in Toronto. Like, like when I started, I didn't have that much competition, but now I'm starting to see more, and you know, I could be like, oh man, like I got to compete with these guys, but I see like that's beautiful, like that's sick. Like,
I think change the wording to why not collaborate?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do like a collection chain or something like that.
Here's the thing, bro. What I learned about fashion.
What's up?
So, and I fell for it too when I was starting it. So, the only way for two companies to really collab is it's a deal, right?
Yeah.
If one guy has more followers, one guy has less, right away you're like, you're not at my level to collaborate with me.
Oh Lord.
And then but yo, fashion is the most egotistic place you can be. Fashion is all about who you're seen beside, what celebrity you're with, who's wearing your clothing. And that's why it kind of messed me up, made me a little bitter because I got it on all the celebrities I wanted when I was building it. Like at Shawn Mendes, I had Steph Curry for 4 games straight. He was wearing when he's playing the Raptors.
Shit.
Yeah, it's all documented. I have all the
Exclusive.
fits.
I don't even know all
Yeah,
this.
bro. Steph
Damn.
Curry. So when he was facing the Raptors, when Raptors won,
Yeah.
for the tunnel walk, 4 games straight in Toronto, he was wearing collar. Yeah. I have all the videos saved.
How in the world did you pull that off?
Bro, again, you just treat everyone the same. When I was up, when I was down, I always treat. My mom always told me, like, no matter where you are in life,
Yes.
I see a lot of people that get big and treat people differently.
Yeah.
And like, I don't believe in that. I feel like that's just you as a bad human being in general. You're just not a good person. And I always believe to be a good person. And like, for me, no matter if I'm up or down, I'm at another level, I treat everyone the same. I treat the janitor the same. I treat like the person at the door with respect. I never give like, and that's just because everyone's human. And just because you got more money, you got more status, doesn't mean you're better, right? So that's always been like that. So the problem is like when I was working with the stylist, she didn't really have any good celebrities to work with, but I wanted to help her out. And so I helped her. A couple years later, she's styling for Steph Curry. She hits me up. Steph Curry wants some stuff. I'm like, all right. That's how it happened because I treat everyone the same.
It's amazing, man.
And it came back to me.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Still got that contact, though.
You
never know. You might have to go up to the, to the bay and figure something out, you know?
Yeah, but that's how it happened. But like, yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. So we're content creators. I'm a podcaster. You're in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
My camera guy here, he's doing his thing, right? Let's talk about it. I always get in these conversations because it's like, it's a topic. Relationships.
Yeah.
And balancing that and finding the right man or the right woman for you, right?
Yeah.
If you see what I did there, I got to make sure I play both
like
sides,
that.
right?
Okay.
So how does that look like for you? Speak to like the up and coming folks, because I feel like some people want to get into the content creation, and they may be dating, and then they separate because they don't have the same alignment in the views.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because jealousy, somebody's getting all this attention. The other person's like, well, I'm still down here. I want to be bigger than the brand. You know what I mean?
Not to call any exes, but I've been through that where when I was growing the brand, I would have these events. And some of my exes, I'm not going to name it, who.
We ain't going to do that.
I'm going to do that.
This guy about to pull a Drake, like first person shooter in the elevator.
No.
Hello?
Yeah. Bro. But like some of my exes, like, here's what I realized. So I have some experience now, but like, when I was starting up, like when you do these events, everyone comes out, the person, no matter what event it is. So like if I go to the Justin Bieber event, for example, that event I went to, all attention is on Justin Bieber.
Facts.
So if I'm throwing my own event, all the attention is on my brand and me. And my exes don't really understand that. And some of them couldn't hold down by themselves or their friends with them, where they had to be attached to me every second. But I'm moving around. My goal is to make sure everyone's having a good time. And there's people I haven't seen for years from like college, high school, people that I do business with. And I got to make sure everyone's taken care of because for me, I guess, how I think about it is when people come, they don't get to talk to you or say hi, they feel disrespected in a way where like, I came up for you, you don't have time for me. They might feel that way, but sometimes they might be like, oh, this guy's busy, I get it. But like, I guess in my head at the time,
But the right people will check in.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I guess growing up when I was doing the events, I wanted to make sure I said hi to everyone. And when I was doing that, I wasn't paying attention to my ex at the time. And so I was always saying hi to everybody. And sometimes I forget because there's someone like ADHD is like there's so much things going on that you're like kind of everywhere, right? And sometimes I forget to introduce your ex and certain things like that. And then they would feel like you don't care about them. And then that becomes an argument. And over time, that becomes for them an insecurity. And they probably have these thoughts, but they don't bring it up because they're gonna look insecure and no one wants to look weak, right? So I think like if I had to go through that again, especially if you're busy working, and also people that work from home, it's funny because people that work from home or like remote, they think you have all the time in the world that you can chill with them all the time, but you're still working. It's like, yo, could you go get me that or do this? I'm like,
that's me currently.
There you go.
Work remote,
so, and that happens all the time. I hear from other people that just because you work from home, they think you're not actually working, or you're an entrepreneur. They don't think you're actually working. They think you just take time off. But like, if anything, you're working longer than 8 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So,
trust me.
So I think the way I've kind of dealt with that and what I've learned from my experience is like, number one, before you even date them, you got to warn them the type of lifestyle you live. Right?
There you go.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Now, if you're already deep into it, honestly, at the end of the day, there's a good book. Right after my breakup, I read this book called What Women Want. At the end of the day.
What, Steve Harvey?
Is it Steve Harvey? No, it's not Steve Harvey. No,
Was that act like a man thing? I don't know what the heck is going on.
Yo, like I was just bored. You know me, like with the whole stem cell stuff, research.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm like, here's the thing. Even though I didn't think it was partially both our faults why we broke up, and it was just like we're a different stage in our lives. But I always like to get better at whatever I'm bad at. That's just the way I am. That's the spirit I have, right?
For sure.
So I'm like, even though I have experienced relationships, I'm probably still bad somehow. I need to understand women even more if I can. So I started reading all these books, and man, this book went so deep, bro. Like, it was this book was saying like girls actually, them going shopping is more than just going shopping. For guys, like, oh, they want to look good, but it goes deep. It's like back in the day when there was like gatherers and hunters, they were gathering blueberries, and like that was their way of like, and even having women friends, like that was their connection. So when you like are not good with their girlfriends, what do you think is going to happen when they have an argument? They're not going to stick up for you.
Facts.
But if you're good to their girlfriends, they're going to stick up for you.
Jeez.
So like little things like that. And also like they'll talk about like girls just want one thing at the end of the day. You want to make them happy is one thing. And I made this mistake. You know what it is?
What is it?
Being attuned to them. What I mean by being attuned to them is when they're talking to you, pay full attention to them and make them feel that they're understood.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of girls, a lot of entrepreneurs, I would say, include myself or just guys in general, you're so busy that you're half-assing it. They're saying something, oh, no way. Okay, hold on. Let me just answer something real quick. Say what you're saying. But if you stop everything for 1 second, put your phone down, like for 5 minutes, just listen to them, hear them out, ask them questions. I used to do this one thing where like I'd come home from work on a busy day. She would come from work. Both come home from work, and then she would give me her day, like, oh, but I even have a worse day. Like, this is what happened with me. And then, like, at the end of the day, they're talking to you because they want to actually be heard. That's all they want.
Facts.
If you're attuned to them, you hear them out, and you don't talk about yourself, you just listen to them. Even though you have all these things you want to say about yourself, just hold it for a sec.
I know one of my exes, right, because like with the podcasting and networking and stuff like that, I would never really go on my phone until she'd pick up her laptop. And we'd be like, because we live in separate places, right?
Yeah.
So what then would happen is anytime she would have to go do like maybe write a quick program out for somebody, I would then pick up my phone and do what I need to do. Right. But all my attention would be when we do our check-ins is I turn myself to her and I'm either laying or whatever, but I'm focused on her to hear everything that she's saying because she's going a mile a minute. And I'm sitting here processing. I'm like, wait, hold on. And then you got to like break it up in stages. But the thing is, they appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the secret ingredient that's missing.
Yeah.
You know,
I made
emotional fucking intelligence.
Yeah, that's amazing because I always saw it as a tune, but if you think about it, it is emotional intelligence. Mm-hmm. Like being able to listen to them and reacting and just making them feel comfort. Because then they want two things. They want to be listened to and they want to feel safe. Absolutely. As soon as you don't make them feel safe, that's when insecurity happens. Yep. That's when they feel like, oh, he might cheat on me. Or that's when they feel like he doesn't think I'm pretty anymore. Mm-hmm. Like it's very important you actually compliment them all the time because if they're a loyal girl, they're only looking for your attention and and if you're not complimenting them, guess what? They're gonna feel insecure.
They're going somewhere else.
They're
using the DMs.
Yeah, bro. And one thing I learned,
big head.
Yeah, bro. Bro, trust me. But I think one thing I learned, bro, is a relationship is like a business. I don't like to say it like in that way, but a business, you gotta nurture it, you gotta take care of it, you gotta make the right decisions, you gotta focus on it. As soon as you kind of just chill for like if you're not at a level where you're doing like, let's say $50, $100 million, like how let's say Patrick's doing, right? Then you don't have someone handling everything. You want to bring your business to a level where you have systems and processes in place where if you leave for 2 months, everything still runs smoothly. But if you have to leave your business for a month and it goes to shit, you didn't do a good job being a business owner, right? So just like that, there should be a process for your relationship where you got to check in with your girl. You got to have that date night with her. You can't just blame everything. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you get stressed. I'm not going to lie. Like I've been stressed from like, I got to finish this project. I'm so sorry. And like my business, like I have someone that I know, I'm not going to say his name, but he's smart, bro. Like he will plan, let's say Valentine's in February, right?
Yeah.
He buys Valentine's gifts.
Yeah.
Let's say on Black Friday or something.
Okay.
Cost too, but he plans everything ahead of time, 6-8 months ahead.
Smart.
And if he knows he's like working and like I know this guy, like if he knows he's working and he's got like a trip that he has to go for 2 weeks. He'll plan a trip with her before, so she has something exciting to look forward to.
Damn, that's value right there.
Yeah, or he'll randomly send her flowers before his trip because now she feels confident, and that's the stuff that those little things help so much in a relationship. These little things, the little hacks.
That's why I like the whole like.
And just checking up on them too.
That fucking manosphere, red pill, all this dumb shit lately. I'm just you hear it and then you're just like, you know what? You guys deal with low vibrational, insecure women.
100%, bro.
If you're dealing with a woman that's actually secure, she just value the time. Take her out. 100%. You know what I mean? One day a week, date her.
That's
you know
it,
what I
bro.
mean?
Yeah,
she wants to wear fancy clothes. She wants to go out. She wants to feel nice. You know, and that's how you just do it. You know,
it's true.
The
girls like to dress up and like feel nice, and like if you take that away from them, like they start feeling like almost like resentment. Like, what am I doing in this relationship? You know? Like I can't enjoy myself. Like,
and I'm guilty of it. Not every.
I'm guilty of it too, bro.
I've walked out. I've been in the mall. I've been different places in the city, and it's like not every person that comes up to me or that I know I introduce my girl to, because it's like. It's whatever, and you get in those conversations like, "Oh, how can you introduce me to him?" Because it's a nobody. Don't worry. You know, I'm not going to introduce somebody I don't value. You know what I mean? Sure, it's an acquaintance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, but then some girls trip out on you. Yeah. Because you're like, "Yo, you didn't introduce me to that person. You just leave that alone." That's like a high school friend.
For sure.
We don't talk. He's not my phone.
Not feeling that.
It's wild, you know.
No, I think the main thing is like, if I'm single right now, but like if I had to get back in a relationship, like, I think for me is like. Do they have a good, strong sense of friends? Because people can get lost in a relationship where they stop hanging out with their friends. And everything's about each other, which is dangerous because you need that independence where you're actually taking care. Like you have like the whole you learn that in school, the hierarchy. Like you gotta have like your shelter, then your friends. But for me, like you gotta have your group of friends where you can deload your stress to sometimes. Because if the girl's stressed, she doesn't know one to talk to, she's gonna put it on you.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So that's important. And then number 2 is I like when a girl will push you to go do things and like be adventurous, and you're the same too. Yeah. Because if you're not, then somewhere in the relationship, you can get lazy, you don't want to do things together, and you guys can be content watching Netflix every night. Facts. That's 99% relationships. Facts. In the winter, at least, you're watching Netflix. And I like
that you say that, because I'm also single too. And the greatest thing is that you got to find the person. If you're like the 1, the 3, and the 5, that person's either got to be the 2 and the 4.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's an insert
exactly.
because it's like the yin and yang and stuff like that. Because you're all going to reap the same benefits. Yeah. She could be a nurse or whatever. You're fashion or a podcast or a photographer. It's like we reap the rewards when it comes through. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe I got to go to Miami, but hey, you're coming with me because I want you to be there. Right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. And one of the things Patrick Bet David said, he has his assistants, but he goes with his kids and his wife manages the schedule. And she says, hey, plug in. This is where you need to show up at. This is where you need to show up at. Shit, and he still's a great dad. And I'm pretty sure even an amazing husband. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like when you have that person that gets you and knows, hey, you're conquering, doing what you need to do. The kids are here. You're an amazing dad. But I plug in if it's, maybe they're doing this family day trip, this and that. He just plugs in. He's got to just, synchronization of the calendars.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually sick. Yeah.
No, for sure.
I like that.
For sure.
But yeah, man. So yeah, two things, right? Wrap it up. I guess it would say like attune with the girl, emotional intelligence, and just make her feel like she's safe, bro. Because that's all
value,
I want,
man.
Value.
Value. Before we get out of here, though, I feel like you speak to so much, and what I've understood about you, overcoming adversity, you have tenacity, you have resilience.
Appreciate you, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that 1% better. How do we become that?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it's funny because a lot of people have that 1%, but it's like some people's 1% is way harder to achieve because their goal is so big. And then 1% could be like, I just want to eat clean for a day, whatever it is, right? And I think you have to be just realistic with, here's the thing, not even realistic, because if you're realistic, then like when I was like a teenager, I was like, or in my 20s, I was like, I want to be a fashion designer. That's a pretty big dream, bro. Like, and I said, I want to be a big fashion designer, or whatever it was. And like, that's like winning the lottery. Like, anyone can be a fashion designer, but like to get to that level where you're selling in like 300 plus retailers and stuff like that, that's like a hard thing to attain. So like, what the book, The Secret, taught me was like, just ask for it. You don't know how you're gonna get there. Things will happen. but it's energy, bro. Like for me, it's like, here's what's interesting, right? I said to myself, as 2024 was coming, I'm like, hey, this year I really want to focus on building my brand to the level where I want to be at, since I've like kind of rebranded, right? And when I was doing that, I had all these like thoughts and like these plans in place, and I didn't know some of it. I didn't know how I'm gonna do it, but like things just started happening. But I just kept having good energy, even when things I shouldn't have good energy about. I just kept doing it. And like the other day, I would get a random DM, and because I was out of the game for a little bit because I was injured, I get DM from like DJ Snake's stylist, and I'm like, who's DJ Snake? And I looked it up, 10 million followers. I call my business partner, like, you know DJ Snake? He says, yeah, he's the biggest DJ, bro. I'm like, oh shit. So he made the song with Justin Bieber and all these things, right? So I randomly got hit up. The stylist like, hey, he wants your leather jackets. Can you ship it to me for a party he's doing with Pharrell? I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I shipped it, and then 2 days later, I get another email. There's a new Avatar movie coming out, and the main character really wants your clothing. Super random for his red carpet thing.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I'm linking up with him in Vegas, and then I was like, I really want to do the trade show. And then one of the distributors who just sell Kollar became a sales manager at the Project Show, which is the show I'm going in February for Vegas. He hits me up. He's like, yo, like, if you want to go, like, because I know who you are, I'll take care of you. We end up like connecting, and like I'm listed as like the 5 top brands to look out for in 2024.
Congratulations, bro.
So like when Nordstrom or like Saks and all those stores come, they're gonna see that name there, right? So that's huge. And I'm saying,
there
like,
you go.
and I just had good positive energy, even though things weren't really going that right way. And then I'm like, I'm just like kind of relaunching some of the new stuff. And you hit me up, it's like, yo, you want to be on a podcast?
Yeah.
So just everything just worked out perfectly.
This is how it is, bro.
And I guess back to your question, that 1% is like more the way, instead of 1%, I just focus on how do I make my energy better today, and then the next day, and the next day, and then that is that 1%. Things will start attracting.
Love it, man.
Yeah,
I love it, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, bro.
We're gonna do this again.
Yeah.
We gotta do this again.
Yeah,
you know?
you're a solid dude, man.
Yeah, man. No, definitely, man. You got a lot of charisma, and you're a great storyteller.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro. I know sometimes I can go on and like it never ends. So I try to.
Hey, man, it's whatever. That's what we gotta do. As long as we're not rambling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right,
So yeah,
done,
I
man.
appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're done. Be mindful of time.